The Virgo new moon is the fresh start that you've been waiting for, to start those routines that are going to beneficially enrich and improve your life. But it's going to require equal parts discipline and delusion. Hi, my name is Comet, and welcome to my Cosmic Corner of the Internet, where we discuss all things astrology, and today all things Virgo New Moon September 14th, 2023 and you, where you are getting a cosmic cue from the universe to uplevel your routines, your habits, and thus your life. This Virgo New Moon is involved in a Grand Earth Trine within the cosmos. If you are familiar with Grand Trines, this is abundant blessings, opportune conditions for you to plant a routine that actually sticks. And this occurs in earth signs. And the earth element within astrology governs our physical, tangible connection to life. What it is that we can see and touch and hear and taste and smell. It governs things such as money, finance. It governs things such as possessions and finances and our bodies and our health and our well-being. And so with this Virgo new moon involved in a Grand Earth Trine, there's really this opportune new beginning to really plant the intentions that are going to beneficially enrich our physical reality. Yet, while this new moon is incredibly grounded and sensual and abundant and fertile, it also is opposing Neptune, a planet that governs our higher connection, imagination, and fantasy and muse. So it presents us this unique opportunity to pluck the visions and the desires out of our dream world and manifest them here as part of our tangible physical reality. But as you know about Neptune, sometimes it does create a bit of rose-colored glasses, and that's sort of encoded in this Virgo new moon. This new moon very much gives that energy when you decide at 3 a.m. to get your entire life together. Have you ever done that? Where you accidentally stayed up too late again, and you finally have this moment and this burst of energy where you're like, tomorrow is the day that my life is going to change. So you buy workout sets online, you set an alarm for 7 a.m., you make all of these plans, and you're super inspired to beneficially make that change. Do you always wake up at 7 a.m. and hit the ground running, starting your new life? Not necessarily. Sometimes Neptune can give us a little bit of rose-colored glasses as it relates to this new start, but a new start it is regardless, and one that I'm deeply encouraging you to take advantage of. So within this video, we'll be breaking down the Virgo new moon within its entirety. We'll be analyzing some ways that you can celebrate this Virgo new moon, ritual ideas to really ground down new habits that stick. We'll show a tutorial around how you can find where this Virgo new moon lands within your chart, thus the life arenas that are particularly supported for this fresh new start. And then we'll take it house by house, sign by sign for your Virgo new moon all signs horoscope. Before I dive in, if you could just keep in the back of your mind, if I earn your like, your subscription, your comment, any sort of engagement, I would deeply appreciate it. It's Virgo season. Let's keep our standards high. So only if you do genuinely get value out of the content, it's so helpful for me to continue to create new and full moon all signs forecasts, as well as my weekly astrological weather report, Magic Monday, which you can also check out on my channel. So any bit of engagement truly helps me to create content such as this and such as that. And without further ado, let's go ahead and take it into your Virgo new moon 2023 forecast. The Virgo new moon lands on September 14th, 2023 at 21 degrees Virgo. It exacts at 6:40 p.m. PDT, but make sure to check your time zone, as based on where it is that you are located within the world, this lunation may very well land for you on September 15th. So firstly, let's expand on this energetic of the sign Virgo before we pull in the other planets of the Grand Earth Trine, because understanding what planets are supporting this new moon is helpful for carving your intentions that you want to plant into existence with this Virgo new moon. So firstly, Virgo is a mutable earth sign, and this is significant. Mutable is a modality within astrology that has to do with change, adaptability, flexibility, and earth is our physical, tangible reality. Thus, Virgo is the sign that is able to change, that's the mutable energy, via actions, our tangible actions within this physical world. And so this Virgo new moon is the start that you've been waiting for to improve your routine. And sure, you can use this Virgo new moon to plant the seeds of very sensible, rational, new initiatives to start flossing, to start eating healthier, to start budgeting, to start working out, what have you. But this new moon is also supercharged with a hint of the ethereal, with its opposition to Neptune. And this new moon, while you can use it to start improving your health and your well-being in your day-to-day reality, it also presents an opportunity to almost delude yourself and trick yourself into improving your day-to-day reality. Here's what I mean. It's time to be a little delusional when it comes to making your dreams a reality. This Virgo new moon with its opposition to Neptune asks you, if it's in your daydreams, is it in your day-to-day? If you fantasize about being a pop star, would I be able to take a slice of your life, one day of your life, and see you cutting your EP, reaching out to agents, marketing yourself on TikTok? Would I see that within your physical, tangible actions? Because Virgo is all about these small details of life. Because these small details of life aren't just that. These small decisions that we make every day snowball and become the big sum of what our life is, right? That big dream being a pop star, this Virgo new moon is the time to break it down into little steps and deeply commit to it. And not just commit to it around getting motivated and then falling off the wagon, but genuinely planting the seeds around the discipline that is needed to make this a new habit, a new part of your reality. It takes 39 days to start a habit. If you could commit to this for 39 days, it will become automatic. It will become as natural as any other habit that you have started within your reality. Those things that you almost do on autopilot. It'll be so naturally. Like, obviously, I wake up and I do my vocal exercises while I'm waiting for my green tea to steep, and then I get dressed, and then I call my agent, and then I brush my teeth, like allowing it to just be as natural as almost breathing or as any other routine that you've positively started that has beneficially improved your life. And you might be saying, Haley, Comet, where does the delusional part come in? It's time to be delusional about your routine. It's time to get up at 6 a.m. and delude yourself into thinking that you are a pop star, so that's why you need to get up at 6 a.m. and go running because you need to get fit for the tour. Now, keep in mind, you haven't been signed and there's no tour in sight, but alas, you have to get fit for the tour. Like, that's the new start that this Virgo new moon is supportive for. Being a little delusional in how it is that you carry yourself, being like, well, obviously I have to do my vocal exercises. I'm a pop star. Because here's the thing, when it shows up within our tangible reality, obviously we have to have patience. It's a very earthy new moon trining Jupiter, but our physical reality becomes our life. Those actions that you take every single day do snowball. So it might be a delusion at first. Oh, I have to get up at 6 a.m. because I'm a pop star and I got to get fit for tour, and I got to do my vocal exercises because I'm cutting that album. Like, if you hold yourself in that esteem as that pop star that you see within your daydreams, and your everyday reality enforces that, you are making it a reality via your day-to-day. And that's what this Virgo new moon is so gifted for. Because whatever it is that you want, it does take an element of delusion to make that happen. Because if we only went off what our physical, tangible reality reflected to us, we would be permanently entrapped into this life. With this Virgo new moon opposing Neptune, there is this ability to reach for something that is ethereal, that is not tangible within our reality yet, but we see it within our mind's eye. And the moment that we start taking actions and making decisions from that version of ourselves that we see within that daydream, the closer and closer that we get as it relates to that manifestation. And this can show up in so many ways, my love. I'm sure 0.00001% of us want to be pop stars out there. Maybe 1% out there wants to be a pop star. But let's say you want to get fit. This is almost the energy around holding yourself. Obviously, I'm going to go to the gym after work because I'm a fit person. That's the version of myself that I see myself. There's this unique opportunity to kind of like shape our reality. Like, it's origami around, this is how I see myself. This is how I see myself within my mind's eye, within my visions, and my physical reality reflects that. Because the more that you go to the gym after work at 5 p.m., the closer and closer you get to that version of you that is fit. Let's say you want to be a content creator. Now you have 15 followers, but nevertheless, this Virgo new moon is to say rain or shine, whether one person is watching, 100, 1,000, 1 million, I'm going to commit to this many TikToks every single week and taking it so seriously. Telling your friends, no, I can't make it. I have to film TikToks. And literally like feeding your delulu a little bit, right? Like taking yourself just as seriously as that manifestation has already shown up for you, because then you're getting closer to it. Like it will show up if you hold yourself to that regard around, I've got to film my TikToks. I am a content creator. See yourself within that esteem and allow your actions to reflect it. And that's what's so tricky about habits, is that there's no one to really keep you accountable. There's no one who's going to yell at you if you're not filming your TikToks. Nobody who's going to make sure that you go to the gym after work, or who's going to make sure that you're doing your vocal exercises. That is on you, my love. And it almost takes that little bit of delusion in order to say, hey, this is not shown up with my reality yet. Like within my reality, it only says 15 followers, but in my dream world, I could see that I could get to 1 million subscribers. So I'm going to take actions, film, show up for my craft as though those subscribers have already shown up. So whatever it is that you're intending, whether it is a new partner, a new business, more finances, improved health, with this opposition to Neptune, be a little delulu, be a little delusional. Like I was saying, that moment at 3 a.m. when you're like, I'm going to change my entire life, right? Are you being a little delusional? Absolutely. But can that be the push you need to start a new habit? Absolutely. And a lot of times when we're in this beginning momentum of wanting to start this new habit and wanting to go to the gym, or wanting to be a pop star, wanting to be a content creator, whatever it is that you dream of, really think, what are my daydreams made of and how can I ground them down into my physical, tangible reality? A lot of times where we feel that resistance is around the fear of judgment from other people. What are people going to think when they see me on TikTok, even though I don't have this many followers? What if people at the gym are looking at me being like, what are they doing here? They don't even know how to lift the weights. Or what if I'm sitting at the record label next to people who are actually signed, feeling so embarrassed? This opposition to Neptune is that energy around being delusional enough to not care. Being delusional to not care about other people's judgment around who do they think they are. Because I'm telling you, the people who you genuinely want to emulate, the people who you genuinely want to be, would cheerlead you for taking that first step to get fit, to get signed, to grow your social media audience. They would cheerlead you. It's only the haters who are hesitant of even taking that step themselves that are going to hate on you. And the opposition to Neptune is literally almost letting that judgment from others just reflect off of you. I've shared this before, but sometimes it helps to name an alter ego of that person who is fit, or that pop star, or that content creator. Seeing that alter ego, that higher version of yourself within your mind's eye, and knowing that that can be an armor for yourself around stepping into that version. Allow your daily routines to get closer to that version, because the more momentum you build, the more natural it is to show up as that alter ego, to waltz into the gym like you own the place, to cut singles and be able to inform production how you want it done, to be able to show up for your social media audience and create content that you genuinely resonate with. It gets easier and easier. It takes that decision to start. And this Virgo new moon is the fertile soil you've been waiting for to plant that seed around the decision to start and to show up, because it's both about the vision itself that you want, but equally about also intending upon the discipline needed to make this part of your reality. 39 days is what is needed to start a habit. Please excuse the interruption, editing Haley here, but also fact-checking Haley, because upon further research, I've discovered that it actually takes anywhere from 18 days to 254 days to form a habit. It does differ based on the person. Some people consider the rule of thumb of a good average to think of it as 66 days, or some people think of it as 6 full weeks. And of course, it does differ for every single soul. I will continue to say 39 days to form a habit throughout this video, so go ahead and sub in whichever number works for you. But the point still stands in that that is less than a year. Even if it takes 254 days, that is less than a year. That is such a small slice of your life that can impact your years, your big picture. It's not that much time in the grand scheme of things. So back to the video. So it takes being delusional enough to get out of bed and run because you have to get ready for this tour. It takes being delusional enough to set up your ring light and film every single week. It takes delusional enough to show up to the record label even though you're not signed or what have you for 39 days until it is just a natural habit, until it is as easy as breathing for you. So when you make your new moon intentions around this deal, this body, this audience, equally plant the seeds around this discipline that's needed to get me to the gym, to get me into the recording studio, to get me in front of a camera. Equally plant the seeds around the endurance to keep showing up for yourself. And equally plant the seeds around a little bit of that imaginative Neptune energy around allow me to continue to see myself within that higher version who has what it is that I want, and allow my routines to reflect those desires. So that if somebody took a slice of my day, they would know exactly what it is that I'm building within my life, exactly the version of myself that I see within my mind's eye. And this Virgo new moon is so impactful for change. Honestly, it's so impactful for change. Like I said, the modality of mutable is helpful for being able to adapt, being able to adjust, right? Our physical, tangible reality. But equally, let's consider the energetic of the Grand Trine, the other planets that it's pulling in as friends and as collaborators with this new moon. So this new moon is pulling in Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. So Jupiter is about expansion, about growth. So there is this energy around being able to grow our life, that's Jupiter, via our daily habits. So it's more so, rather than seeing the actual record label contract that you want to sign, it's more so around seeing the everyday actions that you would take if you had that record label. How would you treat your finances? How would you treat your diet? How would you treat your priorities? And how can you carve that in, even if the manifestation will take some time to show up because Jupiter is retrograde? How can you commit to showing up for your craft so that when that contract comes up, you're absolutely ready? Your body, mind, and spirit, your craft is ready for it. Equally, Uranus is there, and Uranus is about change. It's the awakener. So there's almost this energetic with this new moon around being sick of yourself, honestly. And I mean that with love. Mercury is retrograde, and that's who this new moon is answering to. So for a lot of us with Mercury retrograde in Virgo, we've been reviewing our habits and routines, and we're getting a little sick of ourselves. Like I said, with that energetic of wanting to get your life together at 3 a.m. There's this energy around, I stayed up late again. I ate Cheetos for dinner again. I binge watched Netflix again. I'm sick of this. I'm in this loop. Because the moment that you see that you're in the loop is the first start to breaking it. Because it's important to highlight that Virgo as an archetype is associated with shame and guilt, because it is an energy of perfectionism. So your fear around wanting everything to be perfect is holding you back. And equally, that fear around not being perfect can keep you in that shame cycle around feeling bad about yourself and then staying up, eating Cheetos, watching Netflix, and then the cycle repeats. Virgo reminds us that our habits create our reality. And if you're in a cycle, if you're in a loop that you don't want to be in within your day-to-day, this is in disruption with the energy of Uranus. Because here's the thing, shame begets more shame, in that when we are feeling ashamed of ourselves, we're feeling bad about ourselves, we can want to go to methods of coping that are not necessarily good for us, which creates more shame. But then we want to avoid that shame, so we keep on going and we get stuck in this shame cycle. And once you see the cycle, you have the potentiality to be able to break it, to be like, why am I doing this every single day? Why am I not showing up for myself every single day, showing up for my potential? This stops now, this stops here. And Uranus is helping around genuinely awakening your perspective. And perhaps for some of you, with the ruler of this new moon being a retrograde Mercury, maybe it's going back to a past dream of yours around, why did I give up lacrosse again? That stops now. I'm sick of not having this as part of my routine. I'm going to plant the seeds around taking time to go to lacrosse, go to dance class, whatever it is, every single week. Or maybe you used to eat very clean and you miss that and you want to go back. Like with the ruler of this lunation being a retrograde Mercury, you are very supported to go back to past habits and ground them down within your current experience, maybe with a different flavor, with the trine to Uranus, but awakening your perspective of being aware of the loops you've been stuck in here and now and choosing a new pattern. 39 days, my love, 39 days to a new habit. This new moon also trines Pluto in Capricorn. Pluto is about transformation, rebirth. So it's literally reinventing yourself. It's seeing that alter ego. Name your alter ego. See them within your mind's eye. How do they dress? How do they spend their day to day? Would the pop star version of you eat Cheetos and stay up until 3 a.m.? Would the fit version of you pack their gym clothes to go to the gym every day after work? Would the content creator version of you post that TikTok even if you're scared that people in your city are going to see it? They would. Name that person, see that person, dress like that person, eat like that person, smell like that person, because you will become that person. That's what I'm saying here. And Pluto helps us to tap into that power and that reinvention of that person within our mind's eye and merge it within our physical, tangible reality. Because maybe at first it'll be embarrassing showing up like that content creator, like, oh my gosh, what are other people gonna say about me? Might be embarrassing the first time going to the gym, not knowing how to use the machine, or that first time posting your single and it only gets a couple likes, whatever it is for you. But I'm telling you, with all this earthy energy, showing up is a muscle to strengthen day in and day out. So this Virgo new moon speaks to powerful new starts. Like again, these agents of change depicted by Uranus and Pluto, all of these energies are in earth signs. So it's a very tangible new start. It's beginning to build some positive momentum within your world to get towards that change that you have been craving. And we should note that the day after this lunation is when Mercury stations direct. And that's significant because it's the Mercury ruled lunation. So with Mercury retrograde in Virgo, there was this questioning, right, around what are my habits? What are my routines? Where am I getting sick of myself? Because Mercury in Virgo can make us very, very particular and very critical. And again, it's not about using that criticism to stay in that shame loop, like what's the use, what's the point, let me just stay up late again and get stuck in this cycle. It's really identifying where am I not living up to my potential and how can I plant the seeds around creating a routine that genuinely that doesn't just care for the iteration of who I am now, but also shows up for that higher version of me. And with this new moon landing very near the date that its ruler stations direct, it's almost this energy around the introspection, the reflection around where we could be doing better, where our life needs to change, is beginning to get this clearance to echo out in our external reality. And so with this new moon, there is this energy around being able to really genuinely create change within your day-to-day. But this is not the new moon to work with if you are not ready to work with it truly. With this earth energy, it's about showing up for it. It's not about just thinking that the record label is going to come knocking at your door. It's committing to allowing that momentum to be built as part of your daily routine that gets you closer to it. It's not just hoping that dream body appears. It's committing to the practices that will be needed to make it happen. It's not just hoping that one day you wake up with 1 million subscribers. It's budgeting to buy the equipment. It's putting it into your schedule. It's really showing up for it. It's not about just planting the seeds around the thing, but planting the seeds of the habits that will get you closer to the thing. That's what this new moon is pivotal for. And it's so important with this Virgo new moon. Yes, plan it, but do it. Don't allow over planning and anxiety and criticism and perfectionism to keep you stagnant. This Grand Earth Trine is too good to waste by overthinking. And listen, there's going to be a temptation to overthink, and perfectionism can be procrastination, right? Waiting until it's perfect. But every single day that you show up, you chisel your craft, you get better, you get more fit, you get healthier, it gets a little bit more mindless to floss. Like these little decisions that we make up the big summary of our life. So you may think, oh, it's no big deal if I floss. Oh, it's no big deal if I don't practice my vocal exercises. It's no big deal if I don't post a TikTok this week. These little decisions add up. You never know when that TikTok you post is going to go viral. You never know how those vocal exercises are going to refine your voice as an instrument to get you closer to your dreams. You never know when your decision to floss is going to save your teeth, when that decision to go to the gym is going to help you build your confidence so that you put yourself out there for work opportunities. Like you never know how these aspects of your life will continue to permeate either in this arena of your life or even other ones as well. Because it's beyond just what it is that we do every day. It's what it is that we do every day that impacts how it is that we see ourselves. Obviously, I'm a pop star. I practice my vocal exercises every single day. Obviously, I'm fit. I go to the gym every single day. When you invest in yourself and invest in your day-to-day, you see yourself as someone worth investing in. And that echoes into every other aspect of your life. It's so beyond even just the literal decision of should I floss or should I not floss. It's you literally choosing, do I find myself worthy enough to care for my dental health or no? Do I find my dreams worthy enough to work towards them or no? These little things become big things. And in the spirit of Delulu, I saw this reel the other day. It was like, sometimes being Delulu is the Salulu. And that's the energy with this new moon. It's about being Delulu, but not being Delulu enough to allow those delusions to stay in your dream world. It's being delusional enough to think, well, obviously this is going to happen for me. Look at my routine. Obviously, I'm fit. I go to the gym after 5 p.m. every single day. Obviously, I'm a pop star. Look at how I spend my day to day. Obviously, I'm a content creator. Look at how much I post. Obviously, like allowing our delusions to be fed by our day-to-day reality. Because the more your reality reflects your delusions, the more your delusions become your reality. I'm not kidding. One example of this I just want to share quickly is today in sitting down to film this video, my ring light broke. Like I said, Mercury is retrograde right now, and it will be retrograde at the time of this lunation. And you know, it probably wouldn't be a huge deal if I didn't film today or if I didn't do Virgo New Moon horoscopes. Like the world would go on, right? So I easily could have been like, whatever. And I hold myself to that standard around, no, I've made this decision that I do all signs, new moon and full moon forecasts. So I got my butt in my car, I drove to Best Buy, I got this ring light, and here we are. Let me know if you can tell a difference between this light and my old one. My old one just stopped working. So new ring light, new me. But again, it's this energetic around, I could be in that overly realistic Virgo energy around being like, realistically, no one probably will notice or care. But in order to build anything, you have to be a little delusional. You really do. To create things that are extraordinary, you have to see yourself as extraordinary. You just do. And it's not this grandiose energy. It's not thinking you're the best just because that's what you say. It's like you hold yourself to that esteem and your routines reflect it. I see myself as a YouTuber or as a content creator because I show up day in and day out for my craft. I've made this commitment for new moon and full moon, all signs horoscopes. So I got a ring light and I'm filming tonight. It doesn't matter if one person is here or a million people are here. I know a million people aren't here, but it doesn't matter because I hold myself to that esteem around this commitment I've made. I see myself as a YouTuber. I see myself as a content creator. I've made this decision to film tonight. I'm going to get my butt in the car and get a new ring light. I could have easily been like, no one cares, but I have made that decision to show up for myself, to show up for my potential, to show up for your craft. And this new moon is the decision to show up for yours. Whatever it is that you're intending upon, a new relationship, a new job, a better salary, a side hustle, a business, whatever it is. This Virgo new moon is your opportunity to plant that, to invite that into your physical reality for this abundant new start, to pluck that vision of yourself that you see who has that job, who has that relationship, who has that business, and to make it happen within your tangible physical reality. This new moon is your opportunity. So rituals overall are something deeply personal. So I don't want you to feel like you can only celebrate the ways that I will detail right now. I just shared these in case this energetic of the new moon in Virgo is really speaking to you and you want some ways to make this happen. So firstly, this is an earthy new moon. So the best way that you can intend to the universe, this is the new start that I am intending upon, is allowing it to show up via your actions. Take the microcosm of your day and allow it to reflect how you would navigate your day if you were that content creator, if you were that pop star or what have you. Let's expand using content creator as an analogy. Let's say you want to be a content creator, using the Virgo new moon to go live on TikTok, even if you don't have that many followers, using the Virgo new moon to dress the way that you would dress if you had 1 million subscribers, to show up on IG as though you have 1 million people watching your stories, whatever it is, allowing your actions to do the talking and to do the manifesting for you. Equally, with this in earth energy, it may be very opportune to spend time in nature, especially trees, things that are very grounded, to kind of like tether this energetic of patience into your new moon intentions, understanding that it takes 39 days to build a habit, right? And it takes years and years and years to grow a tree. If you are somebody where you get super excited about a new habit and then you fall off the wagon, this is the new moon to genuinely start this new habit until it's as natural as breathing. And spending time in nature and allowing yourself to be in awe at the amount of time that it took for that tree to grow or what have you. And to understand that good things do take time, especially with this earthy energy. Like, this is not a new moon to work with if you want instant results. You're gonna have to work for it. You can get it with this new moon, but you're gonna have to work for it. And spending time within nature, just soak in that energy around it takes patience, it takes endurance, right? In order to grow to the heights that you are capable of. If you feel inspired, you can even use earth energy to have a ritual, whether it's having a plant and charging it with your intention, really seeing your routine within your mind's eye as you charge it into the plant, and then maybe planting it into the earth. You can use flower essences or anything of the earth to supercharge your ritual. As I highlighted earlier, with this lunation trining Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, that's obviously a Venus ruled sign, and Virgo is very physical as well. So it may be very opportune to consider, what is that pop star version of me? What is that content creator version of me? What is that fit version of me? How do they dress, right? Maybe it would be nice to purchase something that reflects that version of you, or to dress like that version, do your makeup of that version. Who cares if people say that you're overdressed or what have you? You are showing up as that higher version of you. Allow your physical reality to reflect that, to mirror that. You can even, with this new moon's opposition to Neptune and Pisces, you can even find ways to kind of breathe magic into the mundane. So a fun way to do this, so Pisces in astrology governs the feet. And so oftentimes they say if you're craving a new change, it's helpful to buy a new pair of shoes that reflect the version of you that you want to step into. So going to the store to buy those running shoes that reflect the fit version of you, those heels that reflect the pop star version of you, it just helps you mentally transition into that alter ego energy that I was telling you about earlier around, when I put on these shoes, I'm stepping into Haley Comet. I'm stepping into this version of myself. I love techniques like that in ways to blend the magical with the mundane, especially with the opposition to Neptune in Pisces. So that can be very opportune. You can also invest in things that will help you organize and plan your day-to-day, things such as planners. You can make a vision board of how you want your everyday to show up. You can commit to a new way to organize your schedule. I would definitely say write out your perfect day, hour by hour. If you were showing up as the highest version of yourself, what time would you wake up? How would you spend your morning? How would you spend your afternoons? And how can you take steps closer to that version of yourself? And you might be saying, Haley Comet, well, the ideal version of my life and of myself, I wouldn't have to go to work. That would leave me with a lot more time in my day. Committing to having the discipline to show up for your dreams in the spaces within your schedule that they do fit in. Virgo New Moon is a mutable earth sign, so it's very supportive around showing up for your dreams, that's Neptune and Pisces, and being able to adjust to the current responsibilities that you are a part of. Like, it might challenge you, but if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. And with this trine to Uranus in Taurus, the awakener, Pluto in Capricorn, the destroyer, right? You can really destroy the prior version of you and rebirth yourself as someone new, someone where going to the gym is just autopilot for you. Obviously, that's what I do. Obviously, I do vocal exercises. That's how I see myself. That's who I am. And I really want you to reflect on past habits that you have grounded down into existence that are now as natural as breathing to you. Think about it. Think about how natural it is now to do your skincare routine, when before you used to never wash your face. Now you have 7 steps, right? Now you can even think about going to sleep without doing your 7-step skincare routine. Think about how natural that is, how easy that decision is. It's not even a decision. It's just part of your reality. That's who you are. You are somebody who takes care of your skin, and your routine reflects that. So considering past shifts that you've made to your habits and how that's as seamless as breathing for you. It can feel unnatural. You can feel like you don't want to do it. You can feel like procrastinating or being lazy, but 39 days. How could you change your routines in 39 days until it's just how you operate your day to day? These are some questions to ask yourself with the Virgo New Moon. So let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to your new moon in Virgo story, where you are getting this opportunity to ground down, to call in, to invite these fertile, abundant shifts into your universe. So to do this, you have two options. The first, if you utilize whole sign, house system, or you're newer to astrology, go ahead, just check my description, find your ascendant sign, and advance to that timestamp. If you use Placidus house system, it's a little bit more tricky to find, but I'll walk you through step by step with a visual tutorial. So what you will do is you'll go to astro.com and you'll find your circle chart. Amazing. Then you'll want to find the Virgo territory of your chart. It looks like a green M with the little tail tucked in Astro. I'm circling it on screen. Amazing. So line to line, this is the Virgo territory of your chart. You can go to the inner pieces of pizza to see which life arenas this expands through. So we see that within this example, it expands through the 9th house, that's the piece of pizza that says 9, and the 10th house, that's a piece of pizza that says 10. So you can either listen to both and take whichever resonates, or we'll want to get specific to see what location of your chart 21 degrees Virgo lands within. So to do this, we'll want to find the beginning of the Virgo section. So the beginning of Virgo, where Virgo begins in 0 degrees Virgo, will be where Leo ends. So Leo is the red symbol. It looks like this. I'm circling it. So where that ends, Virgo begins. Amazing. These little grid marks indicate increments of 5. So it goes 5, 10, 15, 20. This lunation lands at 21 degrees Virgo. So we know where this 20 grid mark is. The new moon is around there. So within this example, we see that lands within the 10th house. So I would advance to the 10th house reading. If you're not sure where exactly 21 degrees, it kind of looks like it could be in the 9th house, kind of looks like it could be in the 10th. You can always go to PDF additional tables, which will let you know a degree breakdown of what sign and degree each house starts with. So let's say we went to that and we saw that MC, that's also known as the beginning of the 10th house. Let's say we saw that that starts at 19 degrees Virgo, then we know for sure it's in the 10th house. If it starts at 19 degrees Virgo and this new moon's at 21 degrees Virgo, we know 21 comes after 19, so it must be in the 10th house. Let's say if this new moon was at 17 degrees, that would come before, we know it would be in the house prior. So hopefully that makes sense. Go ahead and advance to your unique timestamp and let's dive into the new moon in Virgo magic. If the Virgo new moon September 14th, 2023 lands within the first house of your astrological natal chart, this reading is for you. You may be a Virgo rising, you may just have 21 degrees Virgo located in your first house. Either way, the emphasis for you is all around self. It's giving rebrand. It's giving reinventing yourself. It's really a personal new start because when you have a new moon landing in the first house, it's essentially an opportunity to set the tone around how you want to show up for that next year. It's a personal new start. It's giving rebrand. It's giving reinvention. It's giving your glow up starting now and echoing into every aspect of your life because this Grand Earth Trine most likely links the first house of self-identity appearance, the 5th house of self-expression, creativity, I am energy, and the 9th house around higher belief systems. So you have this fertile, abundant, lush, earthy energy around how is it that I want to show up? What is it that I believe in? How is it that I want to express myself? And how is it that I want to call my power back from what is no longer serving to step into my most aligned timeline? That is the energetic that's taking place here. And for some of you, you've been really deep in your mind around how is it that you want to show up. With Mercury retrograde in the first house, you could have been kind of critical or being very hard on yourself. For a lot of you, this is your ruling planet. So there can be this energetic around feeling stagnant within your world. And I want you to know that stops now. Observe what the Mercury retrograde brought to the surface within you, but this is a new moon to remember your strength. Remember the times that you have reinvented yourself from past hurdles and understand that a rebirth is occurring within this current iteration of your life. And this new moon is opposing Neptune. So for you particularly, I feel that some of you are navigating some resistances around what are other people going to say or what are other people going to think about me? How are other people going to react to me? Either fearing judgment or for some of you, I'm feeling projecting on others. I can't start these new habits because my partner doesn't eat healthy, so there's no way I can start this new rebrand. Or I can't make the art that I want to make because then people will say I'm scandalous or what have you. Notice where that projection might be procrastination. Like sometimes we self-sabotage by delaying our own potential, feeling like, well, I can't because of this person. I can't because of what these people would say or what these people would do. Or I can't possibly step into my most aligned timeline because out of all this duty that I have to other people. This is a new moon to remember that you are the main character of your world. And you get this opportunity to design and co-create your life that is in alignment with your higher level big picture belief systems, what it is that you believe in within this universe, as well as what is it that you want to create, what it is that lights you up. And part of you, where you're tapping into this delusional energy, is around showing up as your most aligned self. And for some of you, it's super aligned around ways that you want to take better care of yourself, around skincare, clothes, what have you. And again, it goes beyond the aesthetics of the matter. But again, this new moon is all about how our higher level vision of how it is that we see ourselves can echo through how it is that we carry ourselves, through our physical way of presenting ourselves, our style, our aesthetic. Those little decisions around whether or not you wash your face today, whether or not you run, or whether or not you eat your greens, or whether or not you floss, not only can that have aesthetic ramifications and rewards, but it also, to your mind, okay, because this is a Mercury ruled new moon, to your mind, you are signaling, I am someone worthy of investing in. When I show up for my craft, when I show up for my skin, I am signaling I am somebody who is worthy of taking care of their skin. When I show up for my wardrobe, when I wear the clothes that make me feel like my most aligned self, I'm signaling to myself I'm worthy of feeling good about myself. It's so beyond the aesthetics of the matter. And this new moon is incredibly helpful as it relates to intentions around that. But I want to let you know, this is kind of a bingo free spot in that just about any intention that you have within your cute little head is going to be fertile when it comes to this new moon, because it's the house of self. But what I would say, the caveat that I would give you, focus on the who you would be. So rather than just focusing on the reactions that you would get from other people when you publish that book, see yourself as that author. Rather than focusing on the contract that you'll get, focus on the you walking into that boardroom. See the self and take that dream of how you see your higher version of yourself and anchor it into reality. See yourself as that creator, because again, it's trining Pluto, which is most likely in the 5th house. So some of you, you're really craving shaking up your creativity. And you are fearful that when you reinvent yourself creatively, that you're going to leave behind people who have been attached to that creativity. And I want to let you know the direction of life moves onward. And sometimes, I mean, a lot of you are Virgo risings, a lot of you just have Virgo within the 1st house. But a lot of times you can suffocate your growth out of this feeling of duty or responsibility around, well, people like this art that I do or this way of expressing myself that I do now, even though I can feel my creativity reinventing itself in a new direction, I'm going to be this martyr around, well, this is what people expect from me, so I'm just going to keep doing this. And this is a new moon around understanding no more. I'm not going to stay in this mental trap around this not serving me, but staying suffocated by it. I'm going to take this opportunity to dial into what lights me up, knowing that that's my most magnetic self when I'm dialed into what lights me up. Some of you might be really pulling in parenting themes, romance themes of this 5th house energy. Some of you are really pulling in spirituality themes, higher learning themes of this 9th house, but it all centers into who do you want to be? Who's the mother you want to be? Who's the creator that you want to be? Who's the teacher that you want to be? Who's the leader that you want to be? Who do you want to be? You've been contemplating it with Mercury retrograde, ways that your current identity serves you and ways that it does not. And for some of you, I'm deeply feeling you're kind of having this villain origin story in a sense, because it just feels like you've tried to be perfect and you tried to do it all for everybody with that opposition of Neptune, most likely in your 7th house. And there's almost this energy with this new moon where it's like, no more. I tried to be everything to everybody. And you know what that got me? Resentful. So now I'm doing it for myself. And that's important. That villain origin story is important for Virgo placements because it is a sign that is about being helpful and being of duty and doing all the right things and being perfect. And this feels like a new moon around, I'm taking my power power back. I'm reinventing my identity. I'm seeing myself differently, and thus people are going to respond to me differently. I tried to be perfect. I lost myself trying to be what everybody wanted me to be. No more. This is linking 1st, 5th, and 9th house. This is about being able to express yourself within your entirety and to kind of get out of your head. I know that's hard with all the Virgo energy, but get into how things feel, how decisions feel. Virgo is an earth energy. How does your body feel when you're creating the art that you love? How does your body feel when you are around somebody who really lights you up? How does your body feel when you get a psychic message that super resonates, or when you deliver a psychic message that really resonates? You have at least some Virgo in your 1st house, so you do have a very strong mind-body connection. And it's about feeling anchored in that and trusting its guidance, so that when someone comes to you and is like, please help me, because I think a lot of you have been dealing with that with opposition to Neptune in the 7th house. Please help me, please sacrifice for me. Observing how your body tenses up and understanding that when you feel that tenseness and still play that martyr role, or still are like, okay, I'll help you out, that is betraying yourself. And this new moon is around, it stops now. I'm seeing myself as a version of myself who honors what my body needs, what my soul needs, what my creativity is wishing to come through, what my spirit believes in. I'm centering myself within my own universe. If the Virgo new moon lands within the 2nd house of your astrological natal chart, this message is for you. You may potentially be a Leo rising, or you just have 21 degrees Virgo located in the 2nd house of your natal chart. Either way, your emphasis is all about money, possessions, and self-esteem. You have this Earth Grand Trine linking your career, money, work, houses. So I want to let you know, this is an incredibly aligned time to set intentions around new ways that you want to make money and new ways that you want to manage your money. Now I say new, the only caveat I would give is the ruler of this new moon is retrograde. So it's not that you have to, on the new moon, open the new bank account and launch the new thing, but it is very important to honor, how would the version of me who has $1 million, how would they operate their day to day? And how can I start showing up as that version now? Now, hear me out, because that is not me saying that you need to go to the store and drop thousands of dollars on designer items. You might be like, well, Haley Comet, that's what I would do if I had $1 million. Pay attention more so to how you would spend your time outside of shopping. Would you go to the beach feeling free to enjoy and savor your life without the pressure of having to earn an income? Like, how would you spend your time? How would you dress? How would you walk into a room if you had the resources, the possessions that you desired? Start to get into that mindset. Like, this new moon is training Pluto, so there is a psychological tilt to this new moon. And again, I love some manifestation, but to my core, I'm a Virgo moon, a Virgo rising, so I am very grounded in the advice that I give. So I'm not saying, I do not think it's a great manifestation tactic to spend $10,000 at the mall and be like, well, that's me manifesting this energy of abundance. Abundance is being able to manage and respect money. And leaning into this energy, maybe you don't have the millions that you want to call in, but leaning into your current resources, managing your current money, taking yourself as seriously as you would if you had millions and millions. Like they say, you know, if you can't manage your dollars, you won't be able to manage your millions. So it's really being able to look at your income and really ask yourself, what would I be spending my money on if I had all that money in the bank? Would I be investing? Would I be saving for retirement? Would I be investing in my hobby? And maybe in small ways, you can adjust your budget to be like, hey, partying is not a value of mine. If I save that $100 that I spent on drinks in the weekend, I could finally start those voice lessons. Like, that is an investment of my money that genuinely reflects not only my values, but also my higher level potential and my dreams. Those are the sort of shifts that I want you to empower during this time. And it's incredibly aligned time to call in new ways to make money. Some of you, with the ruler of this new moon being retrograde, maybe there was a past opportunity that you want to nurture, or a past dream of yours, a past idea. Ooh, I really want to start this side hustle. And this is the Virgo new moon to make intentions that stick. That's the gift of this new moon. Habits and routines and intentions that genuinely stick. It's going to be hard. Like I said, 39 days. If you could have what it is that you want, what it is that you have within your mind, if you could have that by just showing up for yourself in 39 days, Wouldn't you do that? 39 days is such a small blip of your life. And when you wake up on a Monday morning and you're like, oh, I just want to turn off the alarm. I don't want to, go write that chapter of my novel. It might just feel like, oh, it's just one Monday morning. It won't hurt anything. But again, every single day you make a decision. Am I going to continue this momentum towards my higher self, or am I going to regress? I hate to be dramatic, but this new moon's trining Pluto. So it really is asking you, if we are not evolving, we are declining. You're either getting wealthier or getting poorer. Not to be dramatic, but literally, do your behaviors indicate your wealth? Because sometimes you can look at your bank account and be like, this is such a joke. Like, this does not reflect my true value. And this is a new moon to be investing in yourself. Again, not necessarily designer, but to be investing in your financial education, how to invest, right? Investing in the hobbies and the things that you genuinely value. Investing in the skills that can allow you to make more money, or investing in the software that will help you more appropriately manage your money. And for some of you, you are that person. You are that person. It's time to start acting like it. It's time to start acting like it. Some of you are getting opportunities to really step into your power at work. Some of you have been dealing with like power plays at work, and this is a time to really just know your worth. Keep your head held high, because you know what? Your actions back it up. Your efforts back it up. Your work ethic backs it up. And this is time to understand, no, I'm not going to sell myself short. I'm not going to let you talk over me at the meeting. I understand my value, the value of my ideas, the value of my mind, and you are going to feel that. Like, this new moon trines Uranus, which is most likely in your 10th house. So incredibly aligned as it relates to any sort of reputation shift or any sort of career shift. Either finding ways to make more money in your current position, calling in new income streams with your current position, or calling in new income streams with your business, or even calling in a new job. With the trine to Uranus, it's a time to embrace change. And it all starts with seeing yourself as somebody who is wealthy. Even if your bank account has not caught up to that, see yourself as someone who's wealthy. Walk into a room as though you're wealthy. Spend your time as though you are a wealthy person. Notice how it makes you show up differently. And I'm telling you, this new moon is a momentum shift to begin to make the changes, make the decisions that put you in alignment, so it starts to show up within your external reality. It all starts with understanding that you are worthy of being wealthy. With this trine to Pluto, I feel some of you have grown up in circumstances that you have experienced tremendous scarcity. And that can impact how it is that we see ourselves, right? And with this opposition to Neptune and Pisces, like seeing yourself as somebody who could never be wealthy because of where it is that you come from, or because of the money habits that have been essentially ingrained into you. And with this new moon, it's essentially this energetic around understanding my past does not indicate my future. And it's starting to make those shifts around that is part of my past. It is not going to be my new normal. My new normal is having, 20 grand in a bank account, 100 grand in the bank account. Like, see that as your new normal. See that as your baseline, and understand that you have the power to be able to reinvent yourself from where it is that you have come from. And I won't lie to you, this is a earthy new moon. It's not saying you can just see yourself as wealthy and it's magically going to happen. But what I will say, shifting into that mindset will allow you to take the actions and show up with the discipline necessary to build that positive momentum that will show up within your bank account. And it all starts with understanding you are someone who is worthy of being wealthy. You are worthy of having what it is that you want. It starts with that. No matter where it is that you come from, no matter what your past is, you are worthy of receiving money for the amazing talent that you give out to this world, honestly. And so with this new moon, it's super aligned in honing in on income streams you want to invite in, money managing strategies you want to invite in, as well as just feeling anchored around, I am a worthy person and I'm going to hold myself and invest in myself as such. If the Virgo New Moon 2023 lands within the 3rd house of your astrological natal chart, this message is for you. You may potentially be a Cancer rising. You may potentially just have 21 degrees Virgo in the 3rd house. Either way, the focus is really on your mind, your connections, and your relation with other people. And that is because this creates an Earth Grand Trine linking the 3rd house of communication, the mind, learning, neighbors, siblings, with the 7th house of one-to-one contacts and the 11th house of large audiences. So with this energy, I want to let you know some particularly supportive intentions are for those of you who know you have something to share. You know you have a book within you. You know you are craving community who gets you, who are deeply like-minded, and you're experiencing some resistance or some overthinking around what it is that you have to share. Maybe even being very critical around, would anyone care what I have to share if I started that podcast, wrote that book, started that TikTok? And I want to let you know they would. And the reason I know that they would is because that desire would not have entered your mind if it was not something that A, you had the capacity to fulfill, and something that is necessary and needed within the world. And you might have hesitations around, what if people don't like it? What if people respond intensely to it? Again, I just feel strongly with this new moon trining Uranus and Jupiter, which are in your 11th house, you are creating content or writing or speaking out to the fellow weirdos. And I don't say that to be mean. The fellow eccentrics, the fellow people who see the world differently. And you honing your authenticity will be the call to those individuals who also feel like they don't fit in. And I want to let you know, think of this concept of sacred mirrors. I think that would be helpful for you all to dial in, and that pay attention to the content creators, the writers that you are inspired by, and understand that as part of their journey, they absolutely had to surmount the same doubt that you are experiencing currently within yours. And we all experience doubt. What we do with it is up to us. And if you want change, it's being able to surmount that doubt and reinvent yourself as somebody who no longer feels that, who shares your message boldly. If you're already showing up on social media as a writer, as a communicator, marketing, sales, anything of that nature, there's something around a pivot here, okay? And it's nothing scary. I just feel with Mercury retrograde, you've been reviewing. Is this what I want to be sharing? Does this feel good for me? Am I lit up when I do this? And with the trine to Uranus and Pluto, you might be shifting. You might be rebranding. For some of you, you might be shaking up your communities or your audience or something of that nature, the people that you reach. And you could be really in your head wanting it to be perfect. But like I said, I just feel strongly with this trine to Uranus, let go of this need that you need to show up perfectly in order to guide, to lead, to inspire. In fact, you showing up messily and vulnerably and raw can be exactly what people need to hear at this particular moment. People don't necessarily love perfect. Honestly, like that's not necessarily relatable. People love to feel seen. I want you to pay attention to the people that you are drawn to and understand they can be reflecting something valuable back to you. If you are drawn to that writer, that content creator, reflect on what about this person inspires me and how do I see myself within this person? And maybe even look to the origin story, because I guarantee there's going to be pieces of what it is that you are navigating currently around, I was scared about this rebrand, or I was scared about posting at first, but it's about how you overcome that and understanding the ways that they don't show up perfectly, the ways that they show up messily, because again, it makes them more human and it makes them more inspiring. Like a lot of times we see people who are successful and we almost just like always see them as that, but that's not where the story is. They had to make that decision to see themselves as that higher version of them and anchor it down until it became their reality as well. And you are gifted a similar opportunity. So even if you're not trying to step into content creation, pay attention to who's inspiring you within your friend group, within people that you listen to, people that you watch. They're reflecting something back to you. You too can have that courage that you admire, that charisma that you admire, that style that you admire, whatever it is that you're tuning into, like, oh, I want that. And less so around feeling in competition, understanding people that we're drawn to, they're reflecting something to you. Honor this concept of sacred mirrors. Pay attention to people who are either drawn to you or you're drawn to them, because they can be reflecting something to you and you reflecting something to them. Tune into the sameness that you are experiencing here. For some of you with this new moon, you're planting the seeds around honoring a new field of study that you want to nurture and no longer letting your inner criticism get in your head. A lot of you are breaking perfectionism. Okay, I feel that strongly. I want to tell you that. And you're not viewing things around perfect or imperfect. You're viewing things through this lens of growth. Even if it's not perfect, I'm growing. Even if I mess up, I'm growing. I'm learning, and that's okay. That's better than just staying frozen around everything needs to be perfect and being so mean to myself. For some reason, I just feel like a lot of you are being super mean and very critical of yourself, and that stops now. Like again, Virgo does take an improvement focused lens to our world, but using the details that you tune into as ways to enrich your life, make it better, because I guarantee that cycle of guilting yourself is not helping you anchor in those new changes that you are craving. So whether you're calling in a new form of communication, that podcast, that book, whether you're calling in a new skill that you want to chisel, a new class you want to take, whether you're calling in just a new mental habit, a new mental chatter for yourself, one that's supported and growth oriented. This is your new moon to work with. If the Virgo new moon lands within the 4th house of your astrological natal chart, this message is for you. You may potentially be a Gemini ascendant, or you just have 21 degrees Virgo located within the 4th house. Either way, the emphasis is really upon how do you want your home to be and how is it that you want to feel. The most fertile manifestations at this time are obviously 4th house arenas that have to do with your physical home. Improving your home with this Grand Earth Trine can be super aligned to tuning into renovation projects that you would want to take on. Maybe you don't have the resources right now to style your place as you would like it, but this new moon can be a really optimal time to have a vision board around how you want your home to look, but more importantly, within the 4th house, how you want your home to feel. And beyond even just home concerns, how do you want your soul to feel is really this energy. With the new moon in Virgo landing here, it can be a very optimal time to intend upon the shifts that you want to make in regards to your own emotional regulation. With this new moon in Virgo, perhaps planting the seed around past activities that you used to do for your self-care, for your soul care, that you want to call back. Like maybe there was an era of your life that you used to journal, that you used to spend your weekends going to the ponds and journaling and sketching, and these times of your life that things felt simpler or that you felt more joyful, and understanding that version of you is still within you. Just as this new moon acknowledges with the trine to Pluto and the trine to Uranus, we are always evolving. I want you to know this is the roots of the chart. It's the most sacred part of your being. So for some of you, I just feel this essence around you miss parts of yourself. There's something there around, perhaps you went through something trying and there's just this energy around, I miss that version of myself. I feel like they're gone forever. And I want you to know they are not gone forever. If there were certain activities that you did at certain portions of your life, or just even times that you just felt more happy, I want you to know that version of you still exists and you can still get back to them. A updated version of them with Uranus and Pluto, but you can still get back to the core of who it is that you are, the roots of who it is that you are, as well as intending on the practices that will help you bridge the gap to that person. Maybe Mercury retrograde in Virgo has made you be revisiting happier times or times in your life that your emotions were regulated differently and reconnecting with it. Some of you, this energy of roots is going even beyond your own emotions, your own roots, how it is that you nourish yourself, to your family, to your lineage. Like this Grand Earth Trine is linking very deep soulful houses. So a lot of you are really doing some deep soul diving around where it is that you come from, parts of your lineage and your family that is alive within you that you are proud to take on. But really with the trine to Uranus and Pluto, ways that you are ready to reinvent yourself. Because I feel strongly for some of you, this new moon landing in this house, you are very critical of yourself because of your family. Perhaps maybe they nitpicked you a lot or made you feel weird, or you felt like the black sheep, or you felt constantly criticized, and it impacted how it saw yourself. It made you be very critical because you tend to see yourself through the eyes of your caretakers or whoever was sort of critical with you. But with this trine to Uranus and this trine to Pluto, it's this really powerful time to deep soul dive and understand, how is this identity that's given to me either by my family or even just my lineage, my culture, my country, right? How is this shaped how I see myself, and is it serving me? Is it conducive for growth? Because if you were told in your childhood you're so stupid, that might shift whether or not you invest in learning that new language, or whether or not you go out for that job, because you have that notion and that identity within you, and you have this fertile energy. It's almost like clay in your hands that you can shape during this time around acknowledging these old embedded stories and shifting them. This links Pluto, which is most likely in the 8th house, and Jupiter and Uranus, which is most likely in the 12th house. So this is such a supportive new moon to call in some new subconscious processing that genuinely transforms you and genuinely supports your emotional state towards seeing yourself as the version of who it is that you are now, but also through the lens of all of the potential that you could be. Because for some of you, I just feel that was stagnated around, well, people who are from where it is that I'm from can't possibly do that, or what it was that you were told, what was expected of you. And it's ingrained deep And this new moon is deep for you. And it's really around getting to, how is it that I want to see myself? This very private portion of the chart. And with opposition to Neptune, you are learning a lesson right now that you cannot please everybody. And I feel some of you have been lacking boundaries with work, or you could have been around bosses or authority figures who have been quite draining. You've had a hard time enacting boundaries, or there can be just like haters or things of that nature. And you're just realizing you can't please everybody, so you might as well please yourself. Some of you are enacting some new soulful practices away from, I know my boss wants me to be putting in, 14 hours a day or what have you, but I'm really prioritizing my overall well-being. My emotional well-being, my physical well-being, my mental well-being, my spiritual well-being. This is a new start to show up for my growth, beyond just the growth of the company and the growth of what people see of me, to invest in my own roots, the parts of my life that are not visible, but are just as valuable to the external, physical, tangible results that I give. You are investing at this time in your emotional sanity, in your psychological processing, in your subconscious processing. So maybe there's certain activities that you can plant down that are helpful for this. Maybe there's a certain mindset that you're tapping into. Maybe there's certain boundaries that you're tapping into to honor this. But I just see this image within my mind's eye of The Secret Garden. I don't know if you ever watched that movie or read that book, but this sacred garden of your own well-being, and nourishing it and watering it in regards to what makes you happy. Understanding the more that you water a secret garden that is not for the public eye, that is not for public consumption, whether that shows up within your spiritual practice, within your self-care, within your therapy, whatever it is that allows your garden to bloom beautifully, understanding that will impact every other arena of your life. And this time is the time to honor your own secret garden, watering the beauty that exists within your own soul and within your own sacred site. If the Virgo new moon lands within the 5th house of your astrological natal chart, this message is for you. You may potentially be a Taurus rising, or you just have 21 degrees Virgo located within the 5th house of your astrological natal chart. Either way, the emphasis for you is truly upon creativity and self-expression and what it is that lights you up. So firstly, I want to speak to the creatives who have not been making time for their craft. This is the new moon to take your power back and plant the seeds around seeing yourself as someone who is worthy enough of investing in your craft, of investing in yourself, and allowing your daily actions to back up the talent that I know is within you. A lot of you are Taurus risings. You all are so talented, and you need to show up for that. Like, you need your routine to reflect that. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Haley Comet, what if I'm not inspired? What if I'm not in the mood? Virgo is about positive momentum that occurs when we show up for something every single day. And if you look at the greats, I literally want you to do some research around the musicians you admire, the writers that you admire, the podcasters you admire, whatever creativity you want to share out into the world. Pay attention to who it is that you read, who it is that you listen to. Pay attention to their origin story. I guarantee how it is that they show up for the craft isn't just doing it whenever it is that they feel inspired. They make it a habit, and they likely made it a habit even before the fame or the notoriety reached them. They honed their craft, they tuned it like an instrument, and you are being asked to do the same and plant the seeds around having the discipline to continue to show up for it. So some of you, you're going back to a past hobby because the ruler of this lunation is a retrograde Mercury. So it's like you used to play guitar, then you fell off the wagon. My love, now's the perfect time, more than ever, to get back on it. You used to do poetry, and now you no longer. This is the time for you. You used to play the harp, okay? And you no longer. This is the time for you. And some of these dreams, it feels like have been buried within you around your inner child, like what your inner child liked to do. Don't you feel like your inner child kind of knew what was up? Like, oftentimes I talk to a lot of my clients, and I'll say, they have a gift for photography in their chart or whatever. And they're like, yeah, I did used to play with cameras when I was younger. Like, sometimes our soul knows. Like, for me, my first dream was I really wanted to be a writer. And that was something I knew when I was so young. I wrote my first story, I think at 7 years old. It was called Helen Pert. It was about a girl, instead of a heart, she had fire within you. So I don't know what I was getting at, what that symbolism was. I don't know what I was saying. But all I knew is that I wanted to write. And as I got older, life got more complicated. It's like, oh, okay, you're not going to earn money for that. And I lost touch with it. But again, we come with this pureness around knowing who it is that we are. So go back to what it is that you used to like to do when you were a kid. What just lit you up? Did you like to make movies? Did you like to take photos? Did you like to play the drums, what have you. Can you reconnect with that? And I'm not saying you have to go be a professional drum player, but I do think that creativity begets creativity. And I do think the more that you can celebrate being alive, the more happiness that you allow into your own experience. And honestly, with this Earth Grand Trine involved, it just feels like it's going to help your confidence. Some of you, random message coming through, but for some of you, you download or feel more connected to spirit when you are creating. And again, it's a muscle to work. Like the more you show up for your creativity, the more inspired you feel to show up, because it is a form of connecting with spirit. You are a conduit for universal divine intelligence. And I just feel like some of you, you really anchor it in within your art. And the more you strengthen that connection, the more insights and muse will reach you with this new moon opposing Neptune. And some of you, beyond just creativity, are just planting seeds for new hobbies that you want to nurture. And perhaps with friends, like this new moon does oppose Pluto, so just being conscious of the behaviors of your network, of your audience, of the people who are around you, and if that behavior is kind of rubbing off on you, because the energy of Neptune does have a tendency to dissolve where it transits, and with Neptune in the 11th house, you can find you're a little bit more susceptible to either your friends or like what other people think. And for some of you, that's shaping your creativity. I want to post this thing, but what will so-and-so say? Or my friends make fun of me when I pretend that I'm an influencer, or what have you. This is about stepping into your life as main character. A lot of you have Jupiter and Uranus in the first house. It's time to reinvent yourself. And when you reinvent yourself, you also reinvent your creativity, and you also reinvent how other people react to you. And the shift starts here. And so for some of you, perhaps you're anchoring in this transformative energy of the new moon trining Pluto and trining the innovative energy of Uranus as it relates to your hobbies, reconnecting with the old hobby, planting the seeds for it, as well as some of you are carving a new start as it relates to romance, how it is that you are approaching dating. You're getting out of your head with the Virgo energy, and you're really getting into your body, like what your body is telling you. Like the ick is so real. Like when you're not feeling someone anymore and your body just like is held by them, like pay attention to that data. Don't overthink it. If you're in your head trying to convince yourself that you like this person, contemplate that. But equally, if your body just feels magnetized towards someone, also honor that wisdom that's coming through. And I just feel like some of you have a new start around approaching dating more authentically and more in a fun fashion, like getting out of your head and like getting into the experience and anchoring it in as something that is meant to be fun. And some of you, you are starting new habits with your children. You're starting new routines with your children, or maybe to connect with your own inner child at this time. But all in all, my loves, what I want you to focus on is really around what it is that you do that lights you up. This new moon links Neptune in the 11th house, and 11th house beyond just friendships, as we discussed earlier, it also has to do with hopes and dreams for the future. So observe what it is that your mind drifts to, what it is that you want in your future, and be willing to commit to the daily practices that it would take to get there. Pay attention to what you used to fantasize about, what you currently fantasize about, and know that this new moon is planting the seeds around this abundant new start to move towards it, as well as planting the seeds around reaching our hopes and dreams can be fun. Showing up for a craft can be fun. Excavating your own potential can be something fun. Anchor that in, make that your new story with the trine to Pluto around. It is so fulfilling for me to show up to be the best creator, the best artist that I can be, the best parent that I can be, the best parent I can be. Again, this new moon's opposing Neptune. So you are totally supported around being a little delusional with it, as well as paying attention to what is fun for you, what does light you up, because those are going to be the dreams that are going to be the most effortless and seamless to fulfill. You're going to look forward going to that piano seat when you're able to find flow state there. You're going to look forward showing up for your harp lessons when it is something that you feel divinely connected towards. And some of you are like getting out of your head with your creativity, which I know is a strange message to come through with the Virgo new moon. But with it linking the first house and the ninth house, it's really around allowing yourself to be a conduit for what comes through and honoring it coming through within its very raw expression. Like oftentimes when I'm downloading, when my mind clicks in, I'm like, oh, I wonder if they're not gonna like that word. It's like the stream stops. And also that can happen with creativity. Like allowing yourself to receive that download or that creation exactly as it comes through, and allowing yourself to release around what will so-and-so think of this, or will this sell, or what have you. Allow it to come through in its most effortless, seamless expression. Like this is Earth Grand Trine. Think of how effortlessly the flower blooms. Like it probably does take a decent amount of effort, but it blooms in the way that it's meant to. What if you saw the creations that move through you exactly the same? If the Virgo new moon lands within the 6th house of your astrological natal chart, this message is for you. You may potentially be an Aries ascendant. You may just have 21 degrees Virgo located within the 6th house. Either way, the focus for you this Virgo new moon is all about work, service, and day to day. And hear me out before you click out the video, because you're like, Haley Comet, that all sounds so boring. Is it though? Is it though? Because let me tell you, your life is not just the sweeping grand moments, the winning of the Emmy. Like the winning of the Emmy, the reason that's so satisfying is because there were so many small daily efforts that led up to that. Like this new moon is about changing your life via changing your habits. And understanding that the sum of your life, yes, there'll be glorious moments of your wedding and promotions and like these really big life arcs, but a lot of it is how it is that you get your laundry, how it is that you cook, how it is that you treat your body. And this new moon is the time to plant the seeds around showing up for your dream life via creating your dream schedule. Some of you can be supportive to go back to a form of diet or exercise that you used to do in the past that you've kind of like fallen off with. This is an excellent time to kind of plant the seeds around reconnecting with that. Or even if it is something brand new, like Mercury is retrograde, so don't feel like you have to hit the ground running, all of a sudden committing to a form of eating that you've never done before, but really tuning into the data that your body tells you around the foods that it likes, the food that it doesn't like. Like again, I think it's really important when it comes to health and routine that we plant the seeds around a routine, a diet and exercise routine that fits us rather than one that we fit into. Like maybe you're experiencing so much resistance to the vegan diet because that's not how your body feels its best. Maybe you're dreading going to Pilates because that is not how you like to move your body at all. You thrive with weightlifting. Be willing to use the data and observe if you are someone who falls off the habit with routines. Observe, is this something that works for me? Like genuinely works for me? Because I do believe exercise can be fun. Your food, your diet can be healthy, but also delightful. Be willing to use the data around what works for you to carve that new routine, because one that works for you will be so much easier for you to fulfill. And since this new moon involves a Grand Earth Trine with the 2nd house of finances and the 10th house of career, my love, you are so supported as it relates to any new shift that you want to create within work. Some of you, I definitely see with the trine to Pluto in Capricorn, you're stepping into being more of a manager and being able to step into your power within the workplace, being able to delegate, right? Maybe free up your own mind. Like Mercury has been retrograde within your 6th house, so I know there's been a lot of issues that have come up. And with this Virgo new moon, it's planting this new start around the way that you want to operate on your day-to-day. Maybe you've been finding you're so bogged down with stress that you want to plant the seeds around, I want my work to feel fulfilling. I want to feel comfortable to be able to delegate, and I want to feel comfortable to invite in lots of money. I mean, you have Jupiter and Uranus in the 2nd house. So either some of you can be planting seeds in regards to a promotion, or maybe even a new job, or returning back to an old opportunity, something that you used to do, or maybe you tried a side hustle, kind of fell out. This is the Virgo new moon to plant the seeds around, okay, I tried this thing, I didn't have the tenacity and the endurance to stick with it fully, that stops now. I'm planting the seeds around really having this abundant new beginning, starting now, starting here. And you know, you're gonna have some voices from your inner landscape. Like with the opposition to Neptune in the 12th house, there's going to be parts within your own being that are whispering to you, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are getting up at 6 a.m. as though you're somebody who's like super fit? Who do you think you are trying to do a vegan diet? Who do you think you are showing up to work on your podcast after you get off work? Who do you think you are? Some of that hater energy is coming from your own mind, honestly, with the opposition to Neptune in the 12th house, around being your own biggest hater. And again, and it's working that muscle around hearing that script, but no longer listening to it because you're routines say otherwise. And there also could be a tempting voice within you around, it doesn't matter if you sleep in, it doesn't matter if you just skip your podcast this 1 week, because Neptune is in the house of self-sabotage, and this could be a form of self-sabotaging yourself, either self-sabotaging because of perfectionism in the Virgo energy, or just trying to anchor us to this new normal. Like, you know, you're not somebody who gets up at 6 a.m. You know that's not who it is that you are. Maybe it's not who it is that you've been in the past, but it absolutely can be who it is that you are in the future. If you work that muscle around showing up day in, day out, and overcoming that energy of doubt, that energy of escapism, that energy of keeping that inner hater energy submerged in the shadows. If the Virgo new moon lands within the 7th house of your natal chart, you might be a Pisces ascendant, or you just have 21 degrees Virgo located within the 7th house. Either way, there is a cosmic spotlight on your one-to-one connections, partnerships, and relationships during this new moon. So firstly, I want to speak to those who are wanting to call someone into your existence. You want to call in your person, your soulmate, your life partner. This is an opportune new moon to work with, but hear me out. It's about putting in the effort and the energy in order to carve space to invite that person into your universe. Like even making shifts in your schedule, like doing the activities that you would do if you had a partner. Like if you've always dreamed about going to an art class with your partner, go by yourself. If you want to watch romantic movies with a partner, call in that. Watch them by yourself, date yourself, call in that energy, as well as look at your physical, tangible surroundings. Like a really great tip, if you are looking to call someone in, and I swear this works, look at your room, look at your bedroom. If your bed is smushed against the wall, to an energetic level, it's not giving the capacity to have another person in the bed. There's only one place to enter it. So I'm not kidding. Rearrange your bedroom so that either side of the bed can be accessed. So it's in the middle of the room. Even you can set up a bedside table or something in the nature to signal that you have the space to call in your partner. Look at your art. Have art around you that has things in pairs, matching bookends, romantic art on the wall. Allow your physical environments to call in the partner that you are looking for. Like, listen, this new moon is a Grand Earth Trine, which is very earthy and sensible, but it's also opposing Neptune, which is most likely in your first house, and a lot of you are Pisces rising. So I know you're not opposed to the woo, but I'm telling you, these decisions, how it is that you spend your day-to-day, how it is that you decorate your home, can be signaling that intention of wanting to call in this person to your universe. For those of you who are already partnered, this is an opportune time to plant seeds around the routines and the habits that you want to call in order to nurture the connection with your partner. If you're feeling disconnected, really look, how many activities are we doing together? Am I greeting this person when they come home? How are we genuinely listening and connecting with one another, as this new moon is linking Uranus and Jupiter in your 3rd house, which is bringing a spotlight to communication. How much are we connecting? It's also trining Pluto in your 11th house. Do we have group outings? Do we have shared interests and shared friends? This is a really optimal time to plant the seeds around the habits and the routines, either from the past, the ruler of this lunation is a retrograde Mercury, or even just taking the data of what Mercury retrograde has been bringing to your awareness about your partnership and planting seeds around healthier, more sustainable ways of watering the connection. You know, I gotta use gardening analogies. This is a new moon involved in a Grand Earth Trine. This is a powerful new moon to manifest via people, like really tuning in. Who would the ideal business partner be? Who would my ideal business partner be? What would an ideal friend be? How would I feel safe and free to be able to express myself? Because I will highlight, a lot of you are getting more social. You're sharing more, maybe on social media with Jupiter and Uranus most likely in your 3rd. Maybe you're putting yourself out there, transforming your response to community, to audience, to friendships, with Pluto most likely transiting the 11th. But you're really planting in new seeds around welcoming in fertile new changes as it relates to you relating with the general public, because relationships, partnerships, connections, audiences, they do take watering and they do take nurturing. So you are undergoing this shift where you are inviting new people into your universe, into your orbit, as well as planting seeds around the routines and habits that will continue to nourish those connections. If the Virgo new moon lands within the 8th house of your astrological natal chart, this message is for you. You may potentially be an Aquarius rising. You potentially may just have 21 degrees Virgo located within the 8th house. Either way, this is your reading. So I want to let you know, first and foremost, some of you are planting seeds around beginning to see yourself as somebody who can earn more by doing less, like being open to receive from others. It is safe for me to receive from others. I want you to anchor that in. Your emotional state has been going through some changes. You are really prioritizing the deepest roots of what it is that you want out of life. And for some of you, you are really revisiting these messages of what it was that you were told, and if it's serving you moving forward, if these value systems are serving you moving forward. Maybe you've always seen yourself as somebody who's very independent and very self-sufficient. And again, these are beautiful qualities, but observe where you are insisting on doing things your way, the hard way, and where you can invite in more resources and more space to attune to your self-care by being open to receive. So this is not just financially, though it could be like receiving via passive income or having different vehicles of money to reach you, right? Can be an 8th house theme, just opening up different streams of revenue to reach you. If you have a business or something of that nature, considering ways that you can scale, that you can multiply your time and energy by inviting more streams and thus more abundance to you. Some of you need to work on receiving within your partner. Maybe you're someone who kind of keeps people, because let's be real, okay, I'm not coming for you, but I'm kind of coming for you. In that, as an Aquarius rising, you do have a tendency to keep people at arm's length. That's so fascinating. I love Aquarius energy because it's like they can feel so connected to humanity or to the big picture, but feel so distant to people within their interpersonal realities. So maybe you're not letting people in to the secrets, what's really going on within your world. Maybe you're not letting people help you, right? Because you are keeping them at arm's length. I find sometimes Aquarius placements, if you are an Aquarius rising, not everyone will be, can cycle through this ebb and flow around feeling connected and then needing space, and feeling connected and needing space. With this new moon, it is a new start around intimacy. Sure, this can echo into your one-to-one romantic relationship, but also intimacy within friendship is a thing. Intimacy within your business partner is a thing. Being honest about what it is that you need within the connection. And there's this fertile new beginning. So if you are married or you have a business partner, really opportune new moon to take the data of what Mercury retrograde has bring to the surface and plant seeds around how you two are going to effectively manage your money better moving forward, how you guys are going to invite new streams of income into your world or new initiatives to promote more abundance within your world. And really with this Grand Earth Trine linking your 12th house of what is beneath the surface and 4th house of what is sacred, again, this is a very deep soul diver sort of house. Like you are doing a lot of healing work. You're asking yourself a lot of really deep questions right now. So I just want to highlight that because with Pluto in the 12th house, you know, you had it in Aquarius earlier in the year. It'll re-enter in 2024, but with this major transformation on the horizon, a lot of you are releasing who you were before. You're releasing value system of what it was that you were before, and you're welcoming in this transformation. And that can be scary. I call this the trust fall house because it's the house of surrender. It's the house of merging, right? But understanding that if we do not evolve, we decline. Choose evolution. Choose who it is that you are transforming into rather than who it is that you've been. Choose to dive deeper into what it is that you want, what it is that you've been running from, what it is that will genuinely make you happy, and trust in the evolution that will follow. If the Virgo new moon lands within the 9th house of your astrological natal chart, this message is for you. You may be a Capricorn ascendant, or you may just have 21 degrees Virgo located within the 9th house of your chart. Either way, the emphasis for you is all about big picture. It's around spirit. And when it comes to lunation, let's consider this Grand Earth Trine because you have Pluto most likely in your 1st house, you have Uranus and Jupiter most likely in your 5th, and you have this new moon in your 9th. These are houses that are deeply concerned around how it is that you express yourself and share your energy without feeling like it needs to be understood by just about everybody. The real resounding motto in relation to this new moon for you is to thine own self be true. You are attuning to the big picture of your life and analyzing it and looking through it for data that you can enact within your everyday. Let me explain. Let's say during this new moon, or maybe with Mercury retrograde here, you attune to, hey, my study of astrology is deeply important to me. That is something that I want to have as part of my daily routine. This is the time to anchor it in. Or perhaps your connection to spirit, you're really wanting to chisel your connection to your intuition, this is a new moon to show up for that practice day in and day out, meditating, tarot classes, whatever it is. It's about taking that big picture around, where is it that I find meaning? Where is it that I feel a sensation of faith? And then breaking it down into the small trees that make up that forest. It's like, these are my priorities. How are my daily actions affirming this? Or am I allowing my energy to be leaked out to all of these matters that are urgent but not that important? Like allowing my own faith and desire to find meaning within the bigger picture, allowing that to get siphoned away through always needing to be productive and respond to people. I highlight that because you have Neptune in the 3rd house. So really pay attention how much of your day is being sucked up by emails or feeling like you have to text people right away. This is a new moon. If you can't take a physical sabbatical, take a spiritual sabbatical to turn your phone off for a little bit, to really tune into your internal monologue, to listen to spirit, right? Because oftentimes when we're so busy, our mind has all of this media and is saturated with podcasts and YouTubes. Like if you're somebody, I'm also like this, so it's no judgment, but if you're somebody who it's never silent, right? You always have something playing in the background. I would deeply recommend during this new moon, really carve some silence so that you can hear your soul speak, because there's something coming through during this new moon that's going to be very supportive. Now, it might be linked to something that is very visible within your world. Again, there's reinvention energy baking within your chart. And you also have Uranus and Jupiter in the 5th house. So there can be a hobby, a form of creativity that's wanting to come through. And again, when you attune to what it is that means something to you, your higher level mission and meaning out of your life, you'll be able to tune to what belongs within your everyday and what doesn't. Like being able to rid yourself of the clutter. And it feels like the mental clutter of people pulling on your time and energy, blowing up your phone, or maybe it's social media. It just feels like there's something that's siphoning your energy from being able to really attune to your soul speak. And for some of you, maybe new desires bubble up, like 9th house is absolutely higher learning, academia, travel, maybe something like that. When you really get down to it, that's really the desire of where you're craving growth to take place, because a lot of you are in Earth rising. There's an Earth Grand Trine linked in this lunation. It's fertile. It's abundant, it's lush, it's opportune for you to plant the seeds of your desires and watch them bloom into existence. But it's really important that it's anchored in self. It's not about how it looks like to others. It's not about what other people will say about it. It's about how it feels to you. And I know sometimes with some of you being Capricorn risings, that's not always where you naturally land. But with Pluto in the 1st and Uranus in the 5th, you're leaning into ways of expressing yourself that might be polarizing or might be misunderstood. And that's okay. So long as it's something that you are finding faith in, that attunes you to the big picture of your world, that is the barometer to check in with on if this is the path that you should continue with. If the Virgo New Moon, September 14th, 2023, lands within the 10th house of your astrological natal chart, this reading is for you. You may be a Sagittarius ascendant, or you have 21 degrees Virgo located within the 10th house of your chart. Either way, this reading is for you. So the new start that is baking the cosmos is really how you relate to the public. So I will let you know, with this Grand Earth Trine linking your 2nd house of resources with your 6th house of work, this is a time to attune to either in your current position or being open to new positions, or even with the ruler of this lunation being a retrograde Mercury, going back to past desires. Like, oh, I used to want to be a writer, but I kind of fell into being a recruiter, but that's still a desire that's within me. This can be a really powerful new moon to plant the seeds to nourish what it was that used to light you up, right? Understanding, like maybe you abandoned that seed of desire within the past around, oh, you can't be a writer, but that seed still exists. So if it's being drawn to your mind's awareness, and especially with Mercury retrograde having gone through this territory, perhaps you've been thinking about it. And with this lunation opposing Neptune, it is not random. That desire would not have entered your brain if you did not have the capacity to fulfill it. What would it look like to believe in yourself? Because everybody that you admire, anyone who's famous or successful, it takes that delusional self-belief. And again, when I say delusional self-belief, I'm not saying acting like you're better than everybody, talking a big game without having the actions to back it up. I'm saying deluding yourself around, obviously I write every single day. I am a writer. Even if my physical reality doesn't reflect that yet, I see myself as a writer, and I'm going to build that. And this new moon is really around planting the seeds around the routine of the position that you want to call in. Now, I'm not saying if you're trying to call in being a veterinarian, go to the vet and pretend to be working. That's not what I'm saying. But it's more so with the new moon within the 10th house around really nourishing the activities that will get there. Doing your prerequisites to get into vet school or whatever is necessary to build that momentum, planning out your life so that you can continue to show up and get closer to that dream. Some of you with Jupiter and Uranus in the 6th house, it feels like you could be getting restless with your current position. You're ready to tap into new skills and to new abilities. With this new moon, it's an opportune time around planting the seeds around the habits and the routines that you want to nourish in order to get there, putting in that momentum towards learning that new skill set or enrolling in those classes or what have you. As well as if you feel like you might be in the right industry, but you want to up level and improve your reputation, this is an opportune time to do so. Some of you might be ready to debut a new service in relation to your work. Maybe there's certain parts of it that are feeling restricting where you're ready to reinvent yourself, ready to do something new or call out a new part of you. I want to let you know this new moon is a really aligned time to start thinking about that and planting the activities that you can nourish in order to make it happen. I'm not saying you have to do a launch. Again, Mercury's retrograde, but it's a really opportune time to take all that data that Mercury retrograde has been bringing to the surface around what's going wrong at work or what's working at work and what's not working, and being able to plant it into existence to genuinely improve your working world and genuinely improve your reputation. And really with the energy of Virgo, genuinely be of service. So empowering inventive new ideas that could have come through, like with Mercury retrograde, you could have gotten all this data around what's not working, and maybe this new moon trining Uranus to Pluto, it's empowering new solutions to old problems as it relates to work, your relation to your bosses, authority figures, your reputation. Empower that during that time and be willing to commit to the habits and the routines that will genuinely improve your working world. Now, I do feel with this lunation's opposition to Neptune, some of you are struggling with your essentially career and your family. Maybe your family is like, you never have time for us, you're so busy with work. Maybe you chose to do something that your parents don't understand. They don't understand why you want to be a content creator. Maybe you feel like the dreams that you have aren't possible for you because of where it is that you come from. Like, it's really important. Obviously, Neptune can be this very dreamy energy, right? Where it is that we idealize life. But it could also be the imaginary monsters under our bed, the things that we blow up within our mind that are keeping us from those new starts that we want, that we make this big deal within our mind when it doesn't really exist. Like, I'm not invalidating where it is that you come from or what it is that you have navigating, but I'm more so bringing to the surface around if there are certain fears around what would people from my hometown think if I started this food blog, or certain fears around what would my family think if I followed this passion, or even people from my town don't do things like this. It's not possible for me based on where it is that I come from. Really get to the root and see if these are in reality, or if it's just your inner hater masquerading through these reasons that aren't necessarily grounded in truth. So with this Virgo new moon, there really is this desire to really want to show up to your highest calling. And understand that with Virgo here, in some way, you are meant to help people, and you feel that within you. And understanding that it's not selfish to want big things for yourself. The bigger things that you want for yourself, the bigger impact that you can make. That's the sort of chart that you have to this planet. So understanding you can overcome that energy of doubt, that energy of that can't happen for people like me. And in fact, it would be selfish to allow those thoughts to keep you back, because you do have this major calling to share. So follow what it is that lights you up, how it is that you want to reach the public, whether you feel like you're in the right industry now, or maybe Mercury retrograde revealed to you, I'm not in the right industry, or I want to build something different. Either way, the Virgo new moon is the fertile, lush new start that you've been waiting for as it relates to your career ambitions. If the Virgo new moon lands within the 11th house of your astrological natal chart, this message is for you. You may potentially be a Scorpio rising, or you just have 21 degrees Virgo located within the 11th house. Either way, you are having this abundant new start as it relates to your community and your networks. So during this new moon, it is a very aligned time to welcome in new friends who are on your wavelength, who feel like-minded. And it's important to highlight within astrology, 11th house is technically designated as friends who help you. And again, it's not being opportunist. There's a reason why 11th house is right next to the 10th house. It's the people and the company that we keep that allow us to reach our goals and to reach our ambitions. So really with this energy of the 11th house, like really looking at your communities, looking at your networks and seeing how inspired you are by the people around you. This is an Earth Grand Trine linking people houses. So the more that you can improve and up-level the communities that you are surrounded by and inspired by, the more you can also up-level your physical, tangible surroundings. And I equally want to mention to you that there is this very psychological tilt, which I know you guys like. A lot of you are Scorpio risings. There's a psychological tilt to this new moon as it does trine Pluto, the planet of psychology, as well as trines Uranus, which is being able to disrupt, calling something new. Some of you have shut your heart as it relates to friends. Maybe you navigated something really difficult that made you feel like people are not safe to be trusted. And I want you to know Virgo New Moon is, yes, about calling in the friends, but also calling in the practices that are conducive for friends. Like think about it. This new moon is fertile soil, right, to plant the seeds of your desires around new friends. But it's equally important to kind of prune the weeds out around what are your belief systems around friends. Do you feel like it's not safe to be trusted? Because you can plant the seeds around new stories around friendships. And I just want to share very quickly, I'm currently filming this. I just got back from an amazing weekend in Ojai with some girls that quite honestly, I did not know that well. I was booked for a birthday party where I met one of the girls and she invited me to work an event at her house for her birthday party. And then she invited me to one other event. So that's like 3 kind of times that I saw her socially. And then she invited me to come to this girl's weekend with her friend group. And like the part of me who's been kind of like wounded by past friendships was like, oh, it's not safe. Like they're gonna make fun of you, you're gonna feel left out or what have you. But there was like a new voice that was kind of beneath the surface around go. Like you get great energy from these girls. Like go. Like you never know what could happen during this weekend. And when I say it was one of the most soul renewing experiences, like you know when you just are on the same wavelength as people and it's just so refreshing to be around people that you don't need to try at all with, that you could just be your weird self with. Like that was me all weekend. It literally felt like I'd known these women for thousands of years. Like I'm pretty convinced I've known them for prior lifetimes or something, because I'm like, where did you guys come from? Why do I feel so familiar with you all? And that was so strange and so bizarre and so out of left field for me to feel that. Blame the Aquarius placements, but there is this energy around feeling fundamentally different than a lot of people that I connect with. Like being able to get along with many, but being able to be understood by few. And I felt understood, I felt seen. And it really shook up my perspective around people can be the biggest blessing, right, within our life, and observing the stories where it's like it's not safe to trust. Like you have not even met people who will love you. Like shake up the stories around friendships or whether or not it's safe to let people in, as well as whether or not it's safe to share. Because 11th house has to do with audiences. So maybe some of you want to start that social media, but you're scared. What if people judge me? What if people know too much about me, right? And again, you never know the audience that you can call in through being honest, through being vulnerable, through sharing what it is that you are interested in, by sharing what it is that is moving through you. Like for some of you, I just feel there's a script around what could go wrong, what could go wrong, what could go right, who could you meet, who could inspire you, who could you inspire by daring to share. And I want to let you know when a new moon lands here, you're not just limited to friendships and audiences and communities, because this house also governs hopes and dreams overall, the future overall. So this new moon is fertile soil to plant seeds of intention that you want for humanity, as well as anything that you desire for your hopes and dreams. Whether it's new friends you want to call in, new ambitions of yours, this new moon is incredibly fertile to hone in on your future and break it down into small steps. That's that Virgo energy. So it's like, if you want the friends, how can you say yes to opportunities, or how can you pencil in time to reach out to people? Hey, do you want to grab a coffee? Like, sometimes the big picture, essentially manifestations within our life, whether we have this group of friends or whether we don't, is whether or not we're putting energy towards it, right? Investing in our online communities, investing in networking, or what have you. And for some of you who are creators, with this new moon, you might be craving different form of content to be coming through you. You might be craving a rebrand, a different way of reaching the public. And with this trine to Uranus and Pluto, this is an opportune time to really click into, what is it that I'm feeling called to share? Maybe Mercury retrograde has made you review this energy around what is around the people that you want to reach, the message that you want to share. And this new moon is an opportune time to take that data that Mercury retrograde gave you and plant the seeds for your new start. If the Virgo new moon lands within the 12th house of your astrological natal chart, this message is for you. You may potentially be a Libra ascendant, or you just have 21 degrees Virgo tucked away within the 12th house. Either way, this reading is for you, and it's all centered around what exists within the shadows. This is a deep soul diver sort of new moon. This is less about the external reality that you are carving, and more so the way that you are nourishing your inner garden, what is sacred to you. And knowing that by watering what's within you, it blooms externally. So it's not for nothing, okay? Just because it's not visible to other people's eyes does not mean it's a waste of time. That feels important to remind you, as a lot of you are Libra ascendants, which can, not always, but can have a tendency to tether their own value to how it's perceived by others. And it's important to know, just because something's sacred and private doesn't make it any less valuable than anything else. With this new moon in Virgo, as I highlighted, it's very supportive around habits and routines, but with it in the 12th house, habits and routines that help your mental and your emotional well-being. Habits and routines that allow you to get closer to your soul space. Habits and routines that are conducive for your healing journey, such as meditating in the morning, prayer, divination, whatever helps you in your inner landscape feel connected to the secrets of the universe. Let's say you have this soul desire around wanting to learn a modality that makes you feel connected to it all. Perhaps you used to be interested in it. Of course, this new moon is answering to a retrograde Mercury, and this is a new moon to reconnect with that desire that is still alive within you and plant the seed to show up for it. Spirituality, we're all intuitive, but it is a craft to be honed just like anything else. So if you are somebody where you deny your ability to intuit information, this is a new moon to plant the seeds around really seeing yourself as an intuitive and really showing up to hone that craft. For some of you, you're such a perfectionist, and this new moon is around choosing a new soulfully supportive script that exists within you, that it blooms within you, and allowing that to be your new normal, rather than zeroing in on all your faults and just naturally having a mind that kind of criticizes everything that you do, allowing your inner script to be one that is growth oriented. Because certainly Virgo energy does scan, does analyze to find ways that things could be improved. But there's such a difference in how it is that we approach through using perfection as a standard around it's not good enough, you didn't live up, versus these are ways that we can grow. And the emphasis is upon growth. Some of you are actually gaining awareness about a bad habit you need to cut out, something that has to do with escapism. You know, when we talk about Virgo energy, we tend to associate it with green juice and yoga and these very healthy habits. But I want to let you know that's not a given with Virgo energy. We hear habits and we think healthy, but Virgo also governs bad habits. Like, it's up to you whether or not, it's up to you whether you do hot yoga every single day or drink a bottle of Jack Daniels every single day. Like, they're both habits, right? And these little decisions make up the big picture. And the habits I want you to attune to are the habits where you check out of reality. Because I highlighted this a little bit earlier, but the cycle of shame begets more shame. And that when you feel ashamed of something, you look for something to numb that or to run from that, which creates more shame. But then you're running from that and it creates more shame. That's why a lot of individuals can struggle with sobriety, because a lot of times when you come down to earth, you have to deal with a lot of shame, and it makes you want to drink or whatever it is that is, whatever the modality, because of that shame. And this new moon is around no longer allowing shame to be that underlying subconscious process, allowing it to be growth around this habit's not serving me. Let me choose new habits. Let me observe how I'm using this to numb shame or whatever uncomfortable feelings that I'm not tuning into. For some of you, I feel it can be something around body or around health, right? Like I want to reiterate, like success is a balanced lifestyle and that shows up within work, but it also shows up within health. So if you've been observing that there's some healthy habits that have kind of gotten out of control, or maybe there's a desire to want to get healthy, but you're running from it, you're not wanting to deal with it, but there's certain habits that you've been entrenched in where it's not conducive to the healthy lifestyle that you are craving, I want to let you know this can be a new moon of liberation, because 12th house is about self-sabotage. And some of you have been in these self-sabotaging habits. And with this new moon trining Pluto, which is about psychology, and Uranus and Jupiter, which are about essentially liberation and growth, respectively, there's an opportunity to start seeing yourself as somebody who does not indulge in what it is that you use to check out, or start seeing yourself in that healthy habit that you want to move into, and start seeing yourself as a human being who is trying their best and not through this lens of perfection, because perfectionism, again, keeps us in that shame cycle, which actually can bring more self-sabotage, more self-destructiveness into our life because we're being so hard on ourselves. Just being like, hey, I had a bad night, I slipped into a bad habit, tomorrow is another day. We make a decision every single day to show up for ourselves, show up for our potential, and this Virgo new moon is a new start to really show up for the reality that you deserve. My love, life is not just about those sweeping moments of tremendous victory and falling in love. We have those moments and they're beautiful and they're divine and they're blissful and they're perfect. But most of life is the day-to-day. Most of life are the groceries and the plants and the to-dos and the cleaning. And your routine either gets you closer to your higher version or gets you further away. And this Virgo new moon is really taking this microscopic look to how it is that you spend the time that this universe so graciously gives us every single day, and using it intentionally, using it to enrich your reality, grow your abundance, build your dreams. That's what this new moon is about. And does it take a heap of delusion to build something great? Absolutely. But again, seeing that higher version within your mind's eye and allowing your routine to reflect that will be the merging of your higher self with your physical reality. I guarantee it. And this new moon is the new start you've been waiting for, to start showing up for not just who it is that you are now, but also that higher self that you know you could be. So my loves, I would love to know, what are you calling in with this new moon? What's moving through you? Where are you anchoring in this fertile, abundant energy? Comment below. My Instagram handle is @HaleyCometAstrology. My TikTok is the same. Again, if you gained any value from this video, I would deeply appreciate a like, a comment, a share, a subscription, only if I earn it. Keep those standards high. It's Virgo season after all. But until we meet again, drink lots of water and stay cosmic.